What if everyone jumped at the same time? This question comes from absolutely everyone on the internet who's been wondering, what would happen if all 8 billion people on Earth jumped at the exact same time? Well, it sounds simple enough. After all, people jump every day. Trampolines exist. We survive concerts, sports events, and school assemblies without incident. But what if the entire human race, every single person, coordinated a perfectly synchronized jump? Let's set the stage. We'll assume everyone gathers in one spot for maximum effect. Maybe a big flat country like Mongolia or one of the larger deserts. You know, something with room for a few billion pairs of sneakers. We'll ignore the slight logistical issues like food, bathrooms, or where 8 billion people would park their cars. So, now everyone's ready, the countdown begins. 3, 2, 1, jump, and nothing dramatic happens. Sorry. When 8 billion people jump, they do indeed exert a force on the ground. But compared to the mass of the Earth, which is around 6 sextillion tons, our combined mass is a rounding error. It's like flicking a battleship with a Q-tip. Sure, there's a teeny tiny effect, but it's so small it might as well not exist. If every human jumped at the same time, the Earth would technically move in the opposite direction, but only by about a fraction of the width of a hydrogen atom. And then it would bounce back, like a spring, as soon as we all landed. However, things get more interesting when we consider what would happen locally. When 8 billion people land at the same time, that's a whole lot of downward force. It would create a sound louder than anything you've ever heard, like a global footstep from a giant monster. The ground would shake, seismographs around the world would spike. It would feel like a worldwide micro-earthquake, enough to rattle windows, set off car alarms, and terrify small dogs. And it would also break some things. If people were jumping on a fragile surface, like a thin bridge, old stadium, or your grandmother's porch, the structure might collapse under the combined force. In fact, engineers already worry about synchronized jumping. That's why you're not allowed to jump on the Millennium Bridge in London, because even a small crowd can create oscillations that mess with its stability. Now, let's imagine an alternate version of this experiment. Everyone jumping wherever they already are. This version is even more chaotic. People jump on rooftops, on boats, on trampolines, in elevators, in space stations. Some people land safely, some don't. The casualties skyrocket. Your cat is traumatized forever. Your neighbor lands on their TV. It's basically global slapstick. But maybe you're still thinking, okay, but if we did this every second for, like, a year, could we eventually move the Earth? No, we could not. Even if we somehow harnessed all the energy of every human jump over and over again, it still wouldn't compare to the energy required to actually affect Earth's orbit. Our muscles just aren't powerful enough. We're no match for gravity, tectonic plates, or even your average asteroid. We could all jump until our knees give out, and the only thing we change is the global sales of orthopedic shoes. Now, what could we do if we wanted to use human jumping as a power source? Well, each jump burns a few calories, about 0.1 food calories, or roughly 400 joules. Multiply that by 8 billion, and you get about the energy in one tank of gasoline. So, yes, if the entire planet jumped together, we could maybe toast a few bagels. Maybe. There is one hypothetical use, though. If aliens were watching Earth and they saw everyone jump at once, they might think we were trying to signal them, or start a war. Either way, it would probably confuse them long enough for us to reset our router or solve world peace. Maybe. Ultimately, the biggest thing to come out of a global jump wouldn't be a physical effect. It would be the psychological one. For one single moment, every person on Earth would be united, not by language, religion, or politics, but by gravity and poor decision-making. It might not move the planet, but it would definitely move us. So, what happens if everyone jumps at the same time? The Earth doesn't notice. The ground shakes. Some bones break. Aliens get nervous. And somewhere, a very confused pigeon explodes in midair.